Welcome to the Wasatch Gazette, a public affairs program produced by Cumulus Media, Salt Lake City. If you would like to submit an interview request for the Wasatch Gazette, please email mike.parsons@cumulus.com. That's mike.parsons@cumulus.com. Now, here's the host of the Wasatch Gazette, Mike Parsons.
My guests this morning are Bryant Brown and Dustin Gettel, who are city council members from Midvale, and Laura Magness, who is the communications director for the city of Midvale. And we are talking Midvale Days, which is coming up the first weekend in August. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
So, Bryant, tell us what Midvale Harvest Days is all about.
So Midvale Harvest Days is our annual celebration that Midvale does every year for the first full week of August. It is a celebration of the community. We have tons of events throughout the week leading up to it, where we invite our community to come and participate in a lot of our events, including tournaments like pickleball tournaments, 5K runs. There's usually a concert in the park, a movie in the park. We try to encompass as many people as we can through our activities, and it's just a way to kind of celebrate our citizens. We think we live in a great city, and we just kind of want to celebrate all of them and encourage everyone to come out, not just from Midvale, but from the surrounding areas.
No, that's what I was going to ask. It's a celebration for Midvale and Midvale residents, but others from surrounding areas are certainly welcome as well. Dustin, give us some of the highlights for this year's Midvale Harvest Days.
Some of the things we're always excited about. So we have block parties, which start in the first week of August. So they'll take place August 2nd, 4th, 6th, and 7th. And we always know that that's like the best way to get to know your neighbors, especially if you have new people who've moved in during the year. You might just wave a nod at them a couple of times a year, but this is a good way to actually, have deeper conversations with your neighbors, build friendships, that sort of thing. So again, that's the first week of August. But then we also have some other events. We have a bingo night, which is Thursday, August 9th. So that's a free bingo night, dinner served there. The proceeds to that benefit our Boys and Girls Club. So it's a really cool event to come out and support. Everything kind of culminates on Saturday, August 11th. We have an all-day, I guess you call it kind of a fair festival, in Midvale City Park from 12 to 5, and then we have a big concert with the Bellamy Brothers.
And Laura, tell me more about these neighborhood block parties. Are those organized by people in each neighborhood, or does the city put those together?
The neighborhood block parties are actually organized in partnership with the city, the Unified Fire Authority, and the Unified Police Department. It's part of the National Night Out, Get Out and Know Your Neighbors. So block captains can call the Unified Police Department and let them know who they want to have at their block parties.
Okay.
So we bring the police department out, we bring the fire department out, city staff, council members, and it's a really great way to get all of those entities connected.
I think that's really cool because more and more these days we don't really know our neighbors like we used to.
Absolutely. And I have never been, but I hear that the neighborhood block parties are the hit of Harvest Days. It's what everyone is most excited about, getting to know each other.
My wife's grandparents, they grew up in Midvale, so we're the fourth generation to actually live on the street we're at. And the block parties have always been a hit, like she said. And universally, they're dying in a lot of places. But I can say in Midvale, it's not. We have a huge turnout. We get a lot of support. People from a wide variety of life show up. And it's a kind of a little bit of a melting pot of cultures that people go and bring a little piece of what they bring to Midvale to their community. And, if people want to see what a successful block party looks like, Midvale is the place to go.
Okay. I moved into my house in West Jordan a couple of years ago, and fortunately we have somebody on our street who demands that we have a potluck every summer. Yeah. And at first we kind of went kicking and screaming, and now we look forward to it because it's so important to get to know our neighbors. Dustin, tell us about how many of these Harvest Days have you attended in the past?
So I've just been here this is my third full year in Midvale. So last year was my first one, and of course it was in concert with running for city council. So,
right.
I had a booth at Harvest Days. But back to the block parties, I think that was a great way to get to know, not only just your neighbors but also voters in Midvale. It was a great time. It was kind of old-fashioned in the way that we were giving speeches on people's front porches. It was kind of going back to the old days of politics, front porch politics.
Right.
So I know we're going to have some political candidates this year, big elections coming up in 2018. So it's a nice way, again, to meet your neighbors, but also, to have some of those deeper conversations.
And just looking through the website, and by the way, if you want to go to midvaleharvestdays.com, it's got all of the details about all of the different events throughout the week. And it really looks like there's entertainment for everybody in the family, parents, older kids, younger kids. Laura, maybe you could highlight some of the stuff that we're going to see this year.
We're really excited this year. We have a lot of free activities for our youth and for adults. We start off the day with a 5K run and leading up to a pickleball tournament that a lot of people are really excited about.
Not everybody knows what pickleball is. It's sort of like mini tennis, right?
It is. It's like mini tennis.
Okay, now, when I first heard of pickleball, I went on and I started Googling, trying to figure out why this thing is called pickleball, and here's what I found. The guys that invented it just thought it was a catchy name. There's no bigger, deeper story to it than that.
Just for reference, me and Dustin, we're going to enter in as a duo to try to take over the pickleball courts during Harvest Days. I've never played it. I had no idea what it was until this summer, but I'm confident I can make a fool of myself enough to be entertaining. So that's the plan for me for pickleball.
For those people that live in Midvale, what else can they do to get involved? What do they need to know so they don't miss out on any of the fun stuff?
So one thing we haven't talked about yet is the parade. So that's a great way to interact with, just anyone who has an entry in the parade. People can come out, cheer on the entrance. So the parade starts at 10 a.m. So that's a great way, again, for the community to come out and, see some.
And in general, the parade route goes where?
So it starts Copperview Elementary and ends at Midvale City Park.
I love the small town parades. They're the right length.
Yeah.
They're not too long. They're just right. And if somebody wants to be in the parade, is it too late for them to do that?
It's not. So the best way, again, would be to go to the website, midvaleharvestdays.com, and there's information on there about how to enter the parade. And also, I think we're still vendor booths. We're still open to anyone who might want to have a booth at the Harvest Day Festival in the park on Saturday the 11th.
We kind of have a unique thing going here along the Wasatch Front where we sort of have this patchwork of towns where you can't kind of tell where one ends and one begins. Laura, do you know any of the history of Midvale? What can you tell us about Midvale?
So Midvale is inherently a smaller town in the Salt Lake County. It always has been. Initially had Sharon Steel located in it. There was plenty of workers. They lived on these homes that were built in the early 1900s, right by our city council hall right now, that we love. They add a lot of uniqueness, and it slowly has borders have crept outwards towards its neighboring cities, but it's always been a very blue-collar town. A lot of hardworking individuals working for either the steel company, but now Midvale, I know plenty of UTA workers. I know plenty of, other types of jobs that kind of go in line with the heart of what Midvale is, and it just creates such a great, colorful, vibrant place.
Most other cities, there's a lot of change in Midvale. There's a lot of new construction, a lot of new people coming in, a lot of new housing being developed in Midvale. So, we have an older part of the city, which is great, historic, fiercely loyal to Midvale. And then we have this newer, younger section of Midvale that, is adding some vibrancy.
My guests this morning are Bryant Brown and Dustin Gettel, who are city council members from Midvale, and Laura Magness, who is the communications director for the city of Midvale. And these Midvale Harvest Days, I think right off the top of the interview I mentioned that it's a weekend. It's not. In fact, it's more than a week. It starts August 2nd
10 days.
And really wraps up on the 11th. Firework Show?
Yes, we have the best fireworks show in the Valley that will be following the Bellamy Brothers concert.
Fireworks are now off limits for all of us individually, so if you want to enjoy some fireworks in August, this is one of the places you can do it. For somebody who gets up early in the morning, I am a big fan now of organized, sponsored fireworks shows rather than people that light them off at 1 o'clock in the morning. So this is a great way to enjoy some fireworks.
And I think the important thing to think about is Midvale is so centrally located that a lot of people will be able to see these fireworks, even from their home if they're paying attention. Look towards the freeway, and I think that's kind of the heart of Midvale. We're in the middle of everything. You can see a lot of the fireworks from everywhere, and because of that, we are growing. We do get new businesses in, and it's a good place to have these harvest days and for people to come in and enjoy these fireworks.
Now, I noticed that you're showing the movie Sandlot as your free movie in the park. I would imagine at least some of the movie was filmed in Midvale since it was all filmed along the Wasatch Front.
Yes, so the movie itself, The Drugstore, was filmed in downtown Midvale.
Okay.
Where they went and bought the baseball and whatnot. So a lot of people in Midvale, including myself, take a lot of pride in that movie. When that scene comes up, we know exactly where that's at.
So 2018 Midvale Harvest Days, it all gets underway August 2nd and culminates on the 11th. There's the 5K run, there's the pickleball, the concert, the fireworks. We haven't talked about the Main Street Art Walk. Talk a little bit about that, Laura.
So every year, the Midvale Arts Council puts on a art show competition, and in addition, they induct the Hall of Honor inductee, which this year will be Joseph Mazarin, and they also induct the new Midvale Youth Ambassadors. Following that, or in conjunction with that, we're doing our first annual Main Street Art Walk, where we have invited artists to come and exhibit their art and sell their art, if they so choose, at local businesses on historic Main Street. We're in the process of revitalizing Main Street, and we really want to encourage people to come see how nostalgic it is and how wonderful Main Street is. And we want to encourage people to come take a walk, enjoy some free refreshments, and get to know some artists, and then end up over at the Arts Council to see the art show and participate in the induction ceremonies.
Laura, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about the big day of the festival, August 11th. What are we going to see? What are we going to experience? And most importantly, what are we going to eat?
We have some amazing food trucks lined up for the Harvest Days event. Everything from American fusion to make your own sandwiches, make your own pasta. And in addition to that, we have some great family activities lined up. We're going to have a lot of local performances on stage throughout the day. We have two very, very popular professional DJs that are going to be doing family activities, teaching people how to do line dancing. And we have some fun activities for the kids they're going to be free. We have some bounce houses, slides, wet castles, and free sand play. And my favorite that I'm real excited about, that I will challenge these two in, is the Nerf War.
And that's all happening at Midvale City Park, which is 455 West, 7500 South.
Absolutely, yes. Come on down.
I just wanted to add also we're having professional wrestling as well. So
now, is this professional wrestling with professional wrestling in the quotes?
So yeah, it's like WWF
okay,
wrestling.
Yeah.
So last year I participated in their battle royal, and spoiler, there might be a second appearance by city councilmen in their activities this year.
And do you wear the mask?
I didn't wear a mask.
I think you need to get a mask this year.
Maybe. It didn't work out too well for me last year, but we'll see what happens.
Well, it sounds like a really great time, and I know Bryant and Dustin, you guys are both politicians, so I'm going to give you a chance to say anything else you want to say.
Right, so I mentioned earlier that my kids are fourth generation, live on the street we are actually on, and there's a lot of that in Midvale. A lot of people that have been there for a long time, how wonderful of a place it is. It's tucked away, it's hidden. You'd be surprised at how many people would do anything to stay in this little area right in the middle of the valley. They are committed to the town, and I absolutely love it. I'm not from Midvale, but I've been going to the parade for probably about 10 years now. My wife drugged me along the first time, and I said absolutely not. And after the first one, I said I get it, and I love this town. I love the feel, and that sort of feeling I got spills out to the rest of Harvest Days, where people go to the block parties, and then it spills out further than that. During the weeks and years I've been here, I see a passion for the city, a passion for each other that has not been replicated in other towns and cities I've lived in Utah and in other states. This is my third state. So if you're outside of Midvale and want to see what we're like, come and visit us. It's a great opportunity to realize Midvale isn't just a place you maybe drive through on your way to work, but it's a place you might want to come and stay.
So it's sort of like hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, it's got multiple track stops even, and it's still kind of a hidden gem.
And Dustin?
So for me, I kind of come from the opposite angle of that. So I moved here from Pennsylvania 3 years ago, and I've lived in Midvale those 3 years. And my story, I think, is very indicative of what's happening in Midvale. There are a lot of people coming from other communities in Midvale and other communities in Utah, but also from other states. And once you see Midvale and once you see everything Midvale has to offer, there's no other city, as far as I'm concerned, that's, as convenient and has the amenities that Midvale has. So, that's what I like to see new people show up to our Midvale Harvest Days, people who, haven't heard about it before, or just people who have moved into Midvale and this is their first year. So I'd like to get those people out and enjoy some of the, more seasoned residents of Midvale and just get everyone together.
Well, Midvale Harvest Days is coming up August 2nd through the 11th. The website is midvaleharvestdays.com. Laura Magness, Communications Specialist for the city, Dustin Gettel, and Bryant Brown, both city councilmen. Thank you so much for coming in, and we'll look forward to enjoying the celebration with you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
You've been listening to the Wasatch Gazette, a weekly public affairs program produced by Cumulus Media Salt Lake City. If you would like to submit an interview request for the Wasatch Gazette, please email mike.parsons@cumulus.com. That's mike.parsons@cumulus.com.